Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show today. Today, we're going to shine a spotlight on a Waco creative whose work has reached far beyond Central Texas. Filmmaker Damon Crump is here. He's a producer, cinematographer, writer, director, editor, and founder of Jackalope Entertainment. It's an award-winning production company, more than 35 years experience, and all kinds of films, things like The Tenor, Risen, Trash Day, The Great Cartoony. We've got a whole list of wonderful films to talk about, and it is a delight to have you here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me back.
We go back a ways
Yes.
from when The Risen was
Right.
being shown, and I was still at Channel 25, and so it's always fun to talk to creatives like yourself who've kind of carved a niche in filmmaking, and it's just such a beautiful thing to see. So, first of all, welcome. And what are you working on now? What's your newest thing?
Right now, as far as fun creative projects, we're working to finish a short film that we've shot in pieces here and there. One of my dear actor friends, Henry Carter, who passed away this summer at the age of 85, is our lead actor. Fortunately, all his parts are done. We've got just a couple scenes that didn't involve him to do. So hopefully in 2026 we can get that wrapped up and into the film festival circuit, and then eventually release it on YouTube and Vimeo and places like that.
I know you get close to actors, and it was hard to say goodbye that way, but hopefully we're going to show you one of his short films, right?
Yes.
On this episode, we're going to see.
Yes, one that we finished. It's been a number of years ago, but we did the festival circuit with it, and I believe we released it a year or two ago to YouTube and things like that. But The Great Cartoony is the name of that, and Henry Carter plays the lead role of the Great Cartoony in it. So it's kind of a Twilight Zone magician themed show.
Yeah.
short film.
It's great. I wish we had three magic words. We could
Right,
we could say
right,
it,
right.
make everything all restored. But yeah,
Right.
so storytelling, it really is a big part of what you do.
Yes, that's what I like. Career, whether even when you do a 30-second commercial or short marketing or promotional video, which is a lot of what I do too, you're still telling a story about something, whether it be a product or service or a person. Especially we get to do documentaries now and then, and little shows like this, kind of talk show or 3-camera format. So it's always some kind of message or story that we're getting to tell.
Well, you were reared in Waco,
Yes.
native, right?
Yes,
Native
yes.
Waco. So how did filmmaking first enter your life?
Well, I'll try not to take up the whole show with that. When I was a little kid, probably the only hobby I really had was magic. I enjoyed magic, but I was very shy. So I never really wanted to perform in front of anybody except my mother and my sister and a couple of friends on the street. So it was very limited. I was too scared to go in front of an audience. And then I'm from that, I guess I'd say, original Star Wars generation. When George Lucas's first movie came out, it kind of captivated everybody. No one's seen anything like it. And while that was storytelling on a level that I'd never seen growing up with only Disney films, because I think Star Wars was maybe the first PG movie that I ever saw. My mom, my sister's 4 years younger, so even when I got maybe old enough to see a PG movie, we had to take my sister in consideration. So it was mostly Disney movies and rated G films. But so Star Wars captivated me, but it was really the making of Star Wars that aired, I believe, like 4 months later on CBS. They did a behind the scenes show on CBS, I think, an hour-long show. And that was the first time I'd ever seen filmmaking behind the scenes. And it reminded me of magic a little bit, that's how that's how they made Luke's land speeder fly. It was on a rig like a ride at Kittyland, if you remember Kittyland.
Oh,
here,
yes.
the little rockets that went around. That's one of the ways they did the land speeder. And just seeing that kind of magic of the movies behind the scenes is what I think ultimately led me to kind of move from magic, because making little short films with my dad's Super 8 camera was a way to do it, but not where I had to get up and talk to anybody. I could just put it on camera, shoot it, and then project it in the living room and on a screen like we all probably used to do before home video cameras, and all that was part of normal life. And so that's really what kind of got me into it.
So when did you realize it was more than just a hobby or something you enjoyed doing, but really a calling for your life?
Probably as I was finishing college.
Yeah,
I was a
okay.
business major at Baylor.
All right. Yeah.
And in fact, I had your dad.
I was going to say, did you have Daddy for
class.
economics?
Well, we went to, actually, he was on the trip. I did a trip to England.
To England. Oh, yes. Mother and
in the
Daddy
summer.
loved that trip.
Yes, and he
Baylor
and your
abroad.
mom
Yeah.
was part of that. There were three
Aw.
professors that went: Dr. Cook and
Yeah, Alan Cook.
Dr. Edwards.
Okay, yeah.
And of course your Mr.
Charles Wells,
and
he
your,
went
and
by
your mom.
Bud was his
Yes,
nickname.
and they were all cool. So that was
How
that was
fun.
my first real extensive time out of Waco.
Yeah.
Growing up here. But during that trip, I had taken we had the last day that we could do, or last couple days we could just do what we wanted. And so I chose to try to visit two of the big film studios there that I had grown up reading about since the Star Wars era. One was Pinewood Studios, where nearly all the James Bond films are shot, the original Superman films, so many things. And so I actually found out, did some research while in London. This was pre-cell phones, pre-internet. I found out what tube stops they were at, went to Pinewood, somehow got in there, saw the 007 stage.
Wow.
Wandered around some of the hallways and saw names, because I'm kind of a credit geek too. So, I always stay for the credits for movies.
I do too.
Do you?
I read them like I know any of these people, but I
Yes.
do. I love the music or
Yes,
whatever.
the music's going,
It's always
and you've
good,
got
yeah.
these names. So
And sometimes there's a little bonus material.
I ended up meeting, I saw a guy, a very obscure name, Fred Hull was his name.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why we always knows his name, but he worked on a lot of the Bond and Star Wars movies and Indiana Jones. And I actually saw his office, and he was in there. He was actually working on what at the time was James Cameron's Alien sequel, Aliens. And then I think they were also shooting Little Shop of Horrors at at Pinewood at the time. So anyway, so I was like talking to, I felt like I was talking to a celebrity, seeing this obscure name way down in the credits. And I had lunch there. I took a picture of the 007 stage, snuck one real quick, and just had a great time. Then got back on the subway or the tubes and went to Elstree Studios, which is in just again, both these are outside London, and that's where they shot the original Star Wars movies, the original 3 Indiana Jones movies, and I couldn't get in there, but as I was about to circle it, this is to me the moment that changed my life, divine intervention, whatever it was. I stopped and turned around and recognized somebody walking out. And it's a name most people won't recognize, but the guy's name was Robert Watts. And he was the producer of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So next time you watch those second two Indiana Jones movies, it's produced by Robert Watts, directed by Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
He also co-produced Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. He worked on the original Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark. So this to me was just a step below George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, who were my hero filmmaking idols growing up.
Oh my goodness,
who
yeah.
I always tried to emulate, and what I was doing with making my little movies with my dad's Super 8 camera for $0 or maybe spending $10 or $20 was my budget. But anyway, I saw him. He invited me into he took an afternoon break to go swimming, but he invited me back the next day. I told him, "Oh, we're flying back the next day." So he said, "I tell you what, come with me. If you'll wait, I'll give you a quick tour when I get back." And so he took me up to his offices at Lucasfilm Limited at UK. So, here was a kid who'd grown up nothing from 1977 to this point in the mid 80s to, focusing all on Star Wars and all this stuff. So it was just, it was a day in heaven to be sitting in George Lucas's office, essentially. He had just been there, I think, the prior week. And
I never knew this story, Damon.
yeah, I think a few people know it. It gets
Oh,
long,
wow.
and now
Oh, I love it.
a lot of the youth of today, they don't
They're
really
like, "What?"
relate to those movies, right? So, but yes, he came back after an hour and took me down. We talked for a little bit about the film industry, and he took me down. He asked me what I wanted to see. I think I said it was the Star Wars stage, because I knew George Lucas had paid to have a big soundstage built for The Empire Strikes Back. And so he took me down there, and they were shooting the movie Labyrinth, which isn't as well known, but there is a cult that follows it now. There's a certain generation that grew up with it after it came out. It was the movie that George Lucas was executive producer on, and Robert Watts was the executive for Lucasfilm, kind of in charge of the production. Jim Henson, it was a Jim Henson creation. Jim Henson was directing it. It only had 2 human actors in there, 2 adults, or sort of adult. David Bowie played the Goblin King, and a young Jennifer Connelly was the lead actress. And as I walked into the stage, the guy who played R2-D2 was there, Kenny Baker. So I immediately met him. And, in those days, it wasn't about selfies. It was about autographs. So I had a little notepad, and, I got R2-D2's, Kenny Baker's autograph.
Oh, my goodness.
And they took me into the stage, and it wasn't Star Wars, but it was probably the next best thing. It was this Goblin Village fantasy set. And he introduced me to the first assistant director, who was the first assistant director on Superman, the movie, and tons of other big British productions. And I got to watch him shoot for about an hour. Jennifer Connelly was probably from me. And there was all these people in costumes running around and chickens. And it was incredible. And right at 6 o'clock, a bell rung. The crew was probably out there in 5 minutes, being a union thing. Everybody was ready to go home. And suddenly it was just me and Jim Henson standing there. So I went up and quickly introduced myself to him. And he talked just like Kermit the Frog. His regular voice was just like Kermit.
Suddenly.
And he said something to me that it took a few years for me to realize what he meant, but I said, I'm looking around going, wow, I can't wait to see how this turns out. And he goes, neither can I. And I realized as a filmmaker, when you're shooting and making these things, especially creative endeavors, you don't really always know, what it is in your mind, but trying to translate that and get all the actors and performers and the set all to come out right, just takes a team. And so it was, a few years later, I realized that's what he meant. But that was a pretty cool experience. Then I went back to Robert Watts' office. He gave me some more encouragement, told me to write him, which I did. He wrote me back twice after that. But when I came back, while I was standing there on that set in London, I just looked and I go, this has got to be meant to be. What are the odds somebody like me from Waco, Texas, who's just a fan, could be sitting here on the George Lucas set? And so that's when I decided I've got to do this no matter what. So after I graduated with my business degree, I went back 1 year to Baylor. And somewhere during my senior year, I went to see Dr. Corpy, Michael Corpy, who is still in the film program here.
Yeah.
And I asked him if I could take some classes there. And of course, he said yes. I don't know if he even remembers that happening. So the next fall, after I graduated for 1 year, my parents graciously let me take nothing but film video classes as a post-grad. So I didn't get a degree in it, but I intently took everything. I started reading my cover to cover, and I just wanted to learn everything I could because I knew a lot inherently from working with my dad's Super 8 camera and shooting, but I didn't really know about lighting or audio. I knew how to kind of do creative shots and kind of work it backwards from what I'm seeing and be able to write a script or a shot list and make stuff, but that really fine-tuned my skills. So, between Dr. Corpy and Dr. Corey Carbonero, who's also still teaching there, Corey still has me back to guest speak once or twice a year.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's just been really cool. So I always tell him and the students that the things I learned there during that year, I literally started using as soon as I got out of college, and am doing it here because I'm in year 38 now. So for 38 years,
where did the years go?
I know I'm still using what my teachers, taught me at Baylor.
Yeah, well, there's so many aspects of making a film, and you've done almost all of them at the writer, director, cinematographer, all these things. I want to find out more from you about what you really enjoy the most, if you have a favorite aspect of filmmaking. So much more we need to talk about. Well, we need to take a break right now, so stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
It's football season, and we can create your outdoor tailgating spaces that is actually a part of your home. Bifold doors that tie in the inside and the outside, and you can gain anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet living space, all while taking in the big game, poolside. Call us at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where we can create your unique tailgating space.
EFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. EFNB, your bank for life.
Today's show is brought to you by the Heart of Texas Home Builders Association. Don't miss this year's Home Products Show. It's January 31st and February 1st at the base at the Extraco Event Center. You'll see everything from home construction to remodeling, start to finish. Tickets are $5 at the door. I'll see you there.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct. I let in the sun rays. More of the heat stays. Universal Windows Direct.
Right now, buy one window, get the next one free. Plus no interest and no payments for 24 months.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
It's time to start something new at Allen Samuels. Drive in with huge savings on all of our Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. From a trail-conquering Jeep Grand Cherokee, towing in style with a Ram Heavy Duty, or cruising the city in a sporty and luxurious Ram 1500, we've got the perfect ride for you. Stop by Allen Samuels in Waco, where we make car buying easy.
Come by, let's be friends.
Join Waco Civic Theater from January 16th through the 25th for Songs of a New World, where Tony Award-winning composer Jason Robert Brown weaves a breathtaking tapestry of stories, emotions, and possibilities, capturing the essence of what it means to stand at the precipice of change. Throughout a dynamic collection of songs, this contemporary musical explores life's defining choices, from love to loss to hope and resilience. With a powerful blend of pop, jazz, and gospel influences, each number introduces a new character facing a moment of transformation where a past and future collide in the unknown. Songs for a New World is much more than a musical. It's an experience that reminds us of the endless potential in every new beginning. Waco Civic Theater is also hosting a Grand Night for Singing, which is a dazzling celebration of the legendary Rodgers and Hammerstein's most cherished songs, reimagined with fresh arrangements and a contemporary twist. From the heartfelt romance of Some Enchanted Evening, South Pacific, to the playful charm of Shall We Dance, The King and I, each number captures the wonder, emotion, and timeless brilliance of classic Broadway. This enchanting revue transforms favorite melodies into new discoveries, proving that Rodgers and Hammerstein's music continues to inspire and captivate audiences of all generations. To find out more and to see what's happening around Waco, be sure to check out our newsletter and subscribe at actlocallywaco.org. I'm Elizabeth Riley, and I will see you all later.
And we are back with Damon Crump, who is my favorite filmmaker, and because I've known you the longest. But there are so many different aspects to making a film, and I guess maybe music composition may be the only thing you haven't done, or maybe you have. You maybe have.
Well,
I don't know.
My first narrative film in the early '80s, probably some. I said Star Wars was my first PG. Stripes was my first R-rated film, but my mom took me and my sister to that, so that was kind of weird. But eventually, like a lot of teenagers or whatever, I saw some of the. I'm not a big horror fan, but I got to see the original Friday the 13th and Halloween, and especially with Halloween, it looked, again, because I was into filmmaking, I go, I think I could reverse engineer that. It seems pretty easy, there's a lot of leading up to stuff. So we did a little slasher film. We used Ketchup for Blood. I think our budget was about $10. I bought a pack of Hanes white T-shirts. So all the cast wore the same type of shirt from a 3-pack, and that film was sort of my first. I won't say it was an homage to horror, but it was easy. It was easy to do. So I directed that along with several others. So if you're kind of asking what position I like the best, it's directing by far.
Directing. Yeah.
I think I produce and I do director of photography or cameraman
Well,
work.
you do multiple things.
Yeah, to sort of sometimes. I had to kind of do them all. Like, well, if I shoot this, who's going to edit it? So, at Baylor, that's why I had to learn directing, editing, sound work. I tried to become very self-sufficient in learning all that by taking those classes. So that really helped me just kind of, I won't say I mastered all of it, but enough to know all the positions. And so, yes, for that Revenge with a Knife was the name of that film. Me and my friend up the street, his older sister, who's my age, had a piano. So when I got the film back, the Super 8 film back, we projected it on a wall and we just kind of banged around on the piano, like similar to what the Halloween music was like.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you'd call it music, but it was music / sound effects. But yes, that was the only foray into music.
You kind of done it all. But music is an important part.
Yes.
Think John Williams. You think the famous composers and the soundtracks. Looking back over these 3 decades plus, is there a particular project that was a favorite for you?
It's hard to say. I'd have to break it into categories.
Yeah.
Directing a feature film was always one of my major goals, or maybe the major goal, which I did get the chance to do. And I think we were just talking before the show, was 20 years ago when we shot the movie Risen.
Oh, I was going to say, you're coming on an anniversary for The Risen.
And it was a zombie movie, all shot here in Waco. So it kind of went back to my horror roots a little bit. But zombies are kind of a sympathetic villain in a way, right? Because they're under a spell. They're not really being bad to be bad. They just know nothing but to attack people, to eat. So anyway, that was my philosophy for going into to do a horror movie. It was the idea of another man who used to live here, David Talbot, who was a huge zombie fan, and he kind of was searching for somebody. He was very smart in that he had a script, he had an idea, but he knew he didn't have the knowledge or background to direct it, but he could help produce it if he found the right team. So I got to lead up that team by getting to direct that and help produce it. So that was my goal. But yes, there's I look at one of the first projects I ever did, shot on film, 16 millimeter film. It was a spec project for a store called Henry's that's no longer here.
I
it was
remember
a
Henry's.
clothing store over
I remember,
close to Cox's. When Baylor was trying to replace Coach Art Briles, I got called by the Baylor athletic department to do a recruiting video that I had a pretty decent budget for. Probably only 6 or 7 people got to see the video because it was head coaching perspectives.
Wow, yeah.
But it was, being a big Baylor football fan, it was an honor to be called in to be able to create something that was going to have a hand in bringing the new coach in, which ultimately ended up being Matt Rule, which, kind of helped get things back on track a little bit.
Yeah. So let's talk about Jackalope Entertainment. What inspired you to start that, and the timing and so forth?
It kind of started as a joke. My dad always liked traveling west. Most of our family vacations were west into New Mexico, Colorado, and I was always intrigued by these postcards you'd see in all the little souvenir stores. And there was the big jackrabbit. There was a guy on a saddle. You may have seen those. But there was always these jackalopes. You'd see them mounted on walls, and I was always kind of fascinated with it because, are they real or are they not real?
Yeah.
And then somewhere in those early mid-'80s, before my filmmaking trip, I guess late high school, early college, family group vacation in Colorado. And, I had an aunt and a cousin who swore they were real. I had another cousin that said they're not. So I was just always intrigued by it. So when I started making these little short films, I go, why don't I just call it Jackalope? I think it started as Jackalope Productions, but then I switched it to entertainment pretty quick. So it was always kind of a little tribute to childhood, but also I like the analogy of like when you see a Western or like a town scene, and it's a facade. It looks real on the front, but you go behind, it's just 2x4s holding it up.
Right.
It's, to me, the Jackalope's kind of like that too. It's presented as something real, but when you go behind the scenes, maybe it's not so real. You can kind of see a mythology behind it.
Yeah, well, your company is kind of known for cinematic quality without Hollywood dollars.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't plan to stay here, but I ended up staying here during my time at Baylor, and then afterwards I met my teachers, recommended I talked to a filmmaker named Alan Stewart, who officed in this very building, which is also kind of fun to be back in.
Yeah.
He was on the 18th floor, and so I did for him through the rest of the early 90s. So he was kind of known as the film guy. He shot film versus videotape, because videotape, Betacam, and all that was starting to emerge. But Alan stuck with film just because film has a more magical look to it. It just has a certain look that video just doesn't have. And I learned a lot from him. I saw in him what I felt doing those little hobby, my hobby films growing up as a teenager. And so I learned a lot from him, and just sort of eventually ended up with his film equipment, and started, I tried to kind of take over where he left off by providing film services. We shot a lot of video, but when we had a commercial or something that had need to be a little bit nicer, we would shoot 16 millimeter film or millimeter film. So we shot film really up. I think the last film we shot was in 2006. So it's been a while, because high definition cameras and technology has taken over, but films, there are still some movies, still some people like Christopher Nolan still shoots on film. Steven Spielberg typically shoots on film. So there are, it is still being used, but yes, learning, just always wanting to bring a cinematic quality to what I do has been important, whether it's through camera movement, lighting, shadow, just tricks, tips we learned with the camera, how to make stuff look like movies versus just, hey, let's just turn on the camera and maybe have a light, maybe not have a light. I've just tried to specialize in that higher quality, which is what Alan did. So I've always,
Where is he? Do you keep up with Alan?
He unfortunately passed away.
I didn't know that.
2016.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, unfortunate. His brother is still here, run into now and then, and kind of as a tribute to Alan, just a couple months ago. Well, I guess it was back in August now, so it's been quite a few months. They had a screening. The Waco, I think the Waco indie guys.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Samuel and
Lewis. They did a screening of Action USA, which Alan produced out of his office here, and a couple of his daughters came. His brother Gerald came. I helped get to a lot of the crew, which were mostly Baylor students that came back. One of the stunt men came in. Some of the extras that were in it, and again, this was shot in 1988. A ton of stunt work. Hollywood stunt people came in. It was quite an experience for about a month for us to all get to work on. But Alan led that charge. So I actually created a Facebook page for Action USA, and as a tribute to Alan Stewart. So, but Alan would come back from time to time. Even after he left Waco in the early 90s, he taught at Florida State. Then he went to work for Avid, which is the big software company that makes editing software. That? I actually do. Randomly, the company that I've been associated with for a year, Billy Asbell and Asbell Video Productions, it's where I had my edit suite. Really still do.
Yeah.
They just sold the building last year, about a year ago. So we're in a new building out on Loop 340. But Alan, when he found out we had Avid, he was very, very happy. He came in and, added some little programs to it here and there, just little shortcuts back in the day, but he worked with them for a number of years. So Alan was the other person in my education that, besides my Baylor professors, was really instrumental in helping get my, giving me the knowledge and experience to continue my career.
Yeah. So storytelling, though, that's kind of the heart of the work. What is it that makes a story resonate with an audience, do you think?
I think when you can write a story that enough people can relate to and tell it in an interesting way. I mean, that's kind of a $1 million question, right? If you could bottle that, everything would be successful.
Sure.
And I think because even as a writer, I don't write a ton of scripts, but whether I'm writing a commercial or a corporate, promotional film or, a feature, sometimes you just got to take your best intuition and go with it. But I think when you can relate to a character and you have a likable character and you want to follow their journey, I think that helps a lot. But I certainly don't know the magic ingredient. But there are some things you can read and learn about and try to follow a template. But again, when I'm doing it, let me tell the story I want to see, and let's see if it's interesting. So I think you just got to try to make it interesting from a story standpoint and visually and with audio.
Are there genres, though, that particularly intrigue you? I know you like the horror.
No, well, yeah. My favorites are action adventure type movies.
Okay.
I'd say big cinematic set pieces. Like I've already seen the new Avatar movie. I'm going to take my kids here in a couple days because they have not seen it yet. Growing up with, Star Wars and Indiana Jones, James Bond movies, those type of things. I've loved Mission Impossible movies. So I like those kind of big set pieces most of all.
Yeah, and your son works with you too.
Yes, my younger son, Alex, says, I never knew this, never really thought about it growing up, but he kind of started doing a little freelance with me when he was in high school. And he and his brother both did some work for Baylor Vision. One fall, the guy who runs Baylor Vision here, Chris Humphreys, called and said, "Hey, would your boys be willing to help us?" Because they were short of Baylor students during this, the time of year between semesters. So they both got kind of introduced to it, made a little bit of money. But Alex has been working with me since high school, worked with me a little bit during college. He actually went to Baylor and went through the program and again had Corey Carbonero for one of his professors. So that was kind of fun. But yes, he's been kind of freelancing with me, so it's been really, really cool to see him have interest in the same field. And I've realized here lately it's a privilege to get to work with any of your children. Yeah. So who knows how long that will continue, but he's gotten pretty good at what he does, so it's been fun.
Oh, that's neat. So Henry Carter, let's get back to him. He was in so many different projects that you had, and we want to set this up for the great cartoonie. We want folks to maybe get that popcorn going now because it's a great short film.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You're very kind. And now for the finale of the evening.
Afternoon.
Right. Sorry, afternoon. The finale of the afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the regeneration. The ancient Chinese felt they had attained eternal youth by imbibing the ginseng root. Ponce de Leon felt that he'd found it by using the mysterious fountain. The French physiologist Brown Séquard felt that he'd solved the puzzle by crunching the testicles of chimps, thereby obtaining from them the vital substance of life. But all that was a bunch of hooey, a hoax, a sham. No one has ever demonstrated the ability to return to his youth. No one until now. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening... This afternoon, I dare you to be awed by one of the great wonders of the world. No, that's not it. Ladies and gentlemen, I dare you to be awed by one of the great wonders of the world. Miss O'Connor, if you please.
The great Cartoni sits before you now, a fossil, camped on the edge of death's door. But in a moment, after uttering 3 small words, he will stand, reborn.
Uti esse nova.
Rejuvenated by the miracle that is magic. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming.
Please tell your friends that we have one more performance tonight. It will be the final staging of Cartoni's historic career. Thank you, Waco.
Amazing show, really.
How'd you get back here?
I have permission. I'm looking for Howard.
I can't help you. Sorry about that. It's just a fan came backstage.
Yes?
Hi, I'm Sam.
Right, yes, I remember. Maybe you should wait out in the...
Here, please.
Contrary to Scuttle, I can still do a few things myself. Who is this, and why is he fouling my air?
Sir, it's truly an honor. My name is Sam Vinton.
You're in the trade?
No, I considered it magic, but, you know, I don't know. Let's just say I was encouraged to try something else.
Oh, you left it, huh?
No, I sucked. So I became an academic.
You must be nuts or something.
No, I'm a historian.
Ah, an egg noodle.
My area of concentration is in the illusionary arts. I've always been fascinated by those who can make the impossible seem possible.
Ah, a groupie, a parasite, a jock sniffer from the Magician's Guild.
Howie.
You're on a quest for significance. In order to make what you're doing seem worthy, you attach yourself to someone who's famous, and that makes you seem important too.
I can see how you might come to that conclusion, except you're forgetting one important fact.
What's that?
You're not really famous. But that's precisely why I'm here. I don't think it's fair. I'm writing what I hope becomes the authoritative volume on the legends of deception. I've got chapters on the historic, Simon the Sorcerer, Previn, Fawkes, and of course the obvious, Houdini, Blackstone, Copperfield. But I also want some chapters on the underappreciated, or in some cases, the unknown. I think the world should know about the man who invented the regeneration illusion. Don't you?
Howie, I think he's sincere. And now, on the night of your final act, it seems fitting, if not providential, that someone document the event. Please, for me.
I'll give you 1 hour before the show. Meet me backstage. I'll tell you what you need to know.
So, how does it feel?
Old age? It's a son of a bitch. But we all cope the way the good Lord intended.
No, thanks.
No? We must be of different denominations.
What I meant was...
I know what you meant. How does it feel to give up the one thing you were put on this earth to do? The one thing that you've been doing for the past 70 years? Well, I'll tell you how it feels. It ain't no piñata.
I know we don't have much time, so let's just jump right in. Let's start with... where did you grow up?
All that mundane crap you can dig up in yearbooks and yard sales. Why don't we just jump to the hunt? And that way we won't waste each other's time or conviction. You want to know how I do it.
Mr. Cartoni, I would not, nor have I ever asked a magician to break
the code. The code is dead. Dead and gone. Right now, anybody can Yahoo or YouTube any trick in the Torah. What I'm about to tell you is no trick, it's no illusion. It's all true, and telling you ain't gonna make it any less so. Well, ain't you gonna write it down? I grew up a foster kid, among those my own age, the runt of the litter. As such, I received what some might deem a special brand of consideration. So one fateful day, an offspring of my Pharaoh's brood is having a celebration. I was dispatched to lather a parcel of cakes, of which I would have no part. Entertainment for the fate, a man who called himself the Incredible Stan. On first blush, the only thing incredible about Stan was his gimpy leg and his penchant for sweet vermouth. But then, with no apparent provocation, Incredible Stan engages me in conversation. He inquires about my dreams, my aspirations. I reply, I only have two.
To be anyone else, anywhere else in the world.
To that, Stan grows a mischievous grin, stares deep inside my skin.
Do you believe in regeneration?
I said,
I might, if I knew what the hell it was.
Then Stan pauses quite sincerely, and just as I'm thinking I've acquired an empathetic ear, he seizes my arm and torques it like a tornado.
Do you want the pain to stop, boy?
Let go, mister, you're hurting my arm.
Apparently I'm not the first, but that's irrespective of the question. Now think hard and answer true. Do you want the pain to stop? Do you?
Yes! Hell yes! All of it! Right here and now!
And just when I'm about to conclude he's a sadistic SOB who's just been inhumanly teasing, he utters three words. Words that before I'd never heard, but since I will never forget.
Udi. Esse. No.
And before my own eyes, my wounds blaze off my skin.
Make haste, little Howie. Leave this, your den of shame.
And then Incredible Stan shoos me out the rear yard and shouts as I run.
The gift is now yours. I bequeath it to you. Whatever you are wanting or without, whisper these three words, and your life will start all over. Even better than new.
And so I did. Went so far as to make it my stock and trade, and evolved it into the savvy you saw mastered here today.
Okay, I get it. You're not going to tell me how you do it, are you?
Monsieur Venton, would a true magician ever reveal to a civilian how his greatest illusion is actually done? But all that was a bunch of hooey, a hoax, a sham. No one has ever demonstrated the ability to return to one's youth. No one. Until now. And now for the finale of the evening. And of my career. I dare you to be awed by one of the great wonders of the world. Miss O'Connor, if you please.
Ladies and gentlemen, before you now a fossil, camped on the edge of death's door. But in a moment,
Uti esse nova.
thank you. On behalf of the great Cartoni, we too hope that you will one day be rejuvenated by the miracle that is magic.
Hey, Mr. Cartoni! Hey! Mr. Cartoni, hey! What? That was amazing. Well, I just wanted to say goodbye.
All right. So say it.
No! It's... Oh, wait! No! Somebody... Please! Please!
Thank you.
Oh, please!
And have a good night.
No! It's... Oh, my... Oh, please! Please help! Please help!
Do you want the pain to stop? Do you want the pain to stop?
You're hurting me!
It appears I'm not the first, but that's irrespective of the question. Now think hard and answer true. Do you want the pain to stop?
Yes, of course!
All of it? Do you?
Yes, God, please, yes!
Uti, essay.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal windows. Direct. I let in the sun rays. More of the heat stays. Universal windows. Direct.
Right now, buy one window, get the next one free. Plus no interest and no payments for 24 months.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Today's show is brought to you by the Heart of Texas Home Builders Association. Don't miss this year's Home Products Show. It's January 31st and February 1st at the base at the Extraco Event Center. You'll see everything from home construction to remodeling, start to finish. Tickets are $5 at the door. I'll see you there.
So it's football season, and we can create your outdoor tailgating spaces that is actually a part of your home. Bifold doors that tie in the inside and the outside, and you can gain anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet living space, all while taking in the big game, poolside. Call us at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where we can create your unique tailgating space.
Let's talk a little bit more about him, though, and your relationship with.
Yeah, well, funny enough, Henry, I met him on Action USA, which was originally called A Handful of Trouble when it shot in March and into early April of 1988.
Mm-hmm. Where's he from? Was he from Waco?
He was, I believe he was born, see, I should know this doing his bio. I believe he was born in Hillsboro. I know they lived in Hillsboro in the early days, and they moved to Waco when he was just a teenager. I mean, I'm sorry, a small child in single digits. And so, yeah, he went to Waco High, went to Baylor, but we met him, or I met him on Action USA. He had one scene, which he said he auditioned for, and he told me the story many times about how he was afraid of heights. So when he called and they wanted him to sign his contract, he couldn't come up in the Alico.
Oh, really?
He was too afraid to go the 18th floor. And
oh my! So
if you had asked him ever to be on your show, he probably would not have been able to to get up here or see these windows. So, but that was funny. But I met him there. For some reason, he stuck with me, and then he came into Asbell's a few times. Would drop off his actor headshot and resume. Yeah. And unfortunately, we just never really connected or did anything there in the 80s or the early 90s. In fact, it may have been in the early 2000s when another Baylor professor friend of mine, Brian Elliott, and I were walking through the halls of Castellaw. We were auditioning for a short that I was producing for Brian. Brian was a director of another friend of mine, John Franklin, who went to Baylor. And we saw Henry in the hallway. He was in the studio playing Abraham. He had grown this for a girl that was she wasn't from Russia, Czechoslovakia maybe, but somewhere in Eastern Europe. But he had the full beard that he had grown. And we were looking for somebody playing a bum. And I said, I don't mean to be condescending after we said hello, but you have the perfect look right now to play this
not
bum.
to typecast you, but
Yes. So we definitely typecast him. He finished that film and then kept that beard for another probably month or two just to do his one scene with us. So he was very dedicated.
Yes.
But it was that and another film that he had a small bit in that I think I was director of photography on that one. It was a Russian zombie film, believe it or not. Another different Baylor professor directed. And Brian Ellett and I were looking at the monitor, and Henry had a fake cigarette. He didn't smoke or he didn't drink, but he was sitting there in one of the bars we had got in, and it was like 5 o'clock in the morning because we had to shoot all night after the bar closed. And we just saw him on the monitor, and we go, just looking at him, I go, look how great. He's just got a great look. He looked like Al Pacino or somebody sitting there. And he was just a great character actor. So we started, as he was getting into his 70s and stuff, we started, really casting him in quite a few things we did. So he was always eager. He was a stage person. In fact, I'm curious if I ever saw him in a Waco Civic Theater show back my parents took me to a few in the 70s, and I'm curious if he was one of the actors I saw, maybe in Dracula. I remember going to see Dracula, and he said he was in that. So I may have seen him in the late 70s.
You may have seen him.
But he was amazing. He was an amazing friend. We became very close after that. And yes, one of the films that we decided we needed him in a lead role. So we did this. I was, again, called back to my magic. Brian wrote a script called The Great Cartoni. Yeah. And we let Henry, we cast him in the lead role there. And he was great. It was a lot of fun to make that.
Well, it is fun to watch. And I think that's a pretty good intro to our viewers to stay with us and see The Great Cartoni. It's been a delight to have you.
Well, thank
Damon.
you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
At TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, your bank for life.
It's time to start something new at Allen Samuels. Drive in with huge savings on all of our Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. From a trail-conquering Jeep Grand Cherokee, towing in style with a Ram Heavy Duty, or cruising the city in a sporty and luxurious Ram 1500, we've got the perfect ride for you. Stop by Allen Samuels in Waco, where we make car buying easy.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
She's out looking for some neon love. All she wants is a one-time fling. She don't want a cowboy who's gonna try to sweep her off her feet. And she just wants a night of cheap motel romance. That's what she's thinking of. She's out looking for some neon love. She's going out, but not to paint the town. She's heading to the honky-tonk. That's her hunting ground. She don't want to drink, and she don't want to dance. What that woman wants is a one-night stand. She's out looking for some neon love. All she wants is a one-time fling. Yeah, she don't want a cowboy who's gonna try to sweep her off her feet. And she just wants a night of cheap motel romance. That's what she's thinking of. She's out looking for some neon love. She's looking good as she heads to the bar. He tries to buy her a drink, but it's not what he thinks. 'Cause he'll fall in love, but she'll tear him apart. 'Cause when that night is over, she'll leave him with a broken heart. She's out looking for some neon love. All she wants is a one-time fling. Yeah, she don't want a cowboy who's gonna try to sweep her off her feet. And she just wants a night of cheap motel romance. That's what she's thinking of. She's out looking for some neon love. Yeah, she just wants a night of cheap motel romance. That's what she's thinking of. She can't get enough of that neon love. What that woman wants is some neon love. Thank you.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Welcome to Market XLS, your all-in-one Excel solution for investors. Designed as an enterprise-grade platform, Market XLS caters to investment managers, secure and efficient investment management and research. Book your free demo